Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dream Career Talkshow. Here on this show, we bring industry experts from various domains who will be sharing their knowledge, their experiences, their challenges, their failures, and success so that it can help others in their career journey. This show is to help corporate professionals expand their context, get clarity, direction, hope, and the right steps to build their dream careers. We all know that if you can't sell, then you can't run a business. If you can't sell, then you can't grow in your career. Sales is everywhere, but yet a lot of people struggle to sell. Why does it happen? Is it only the skill gap or is there more to it? Our today's guest accidentally entered into sales. He sold many products and services and made a lot of money, but surprisingly, he was still unhappy. From there to a journey where he made sales his passion and became a spiritual seller, we have today's guest, Sandeep Patkar, who has been in sales, master sales, and have been helping other people also to master sale, and also the upcoming author of Spiritual Seller. Sandeep, it is very nice to have you here. Welcome to Dream Career Talk Show.
Thank you so much, Fatah. And it is privileged to be on this talk show because I always had this wonderful dream of coming on this particular platform. And I must tell you, Fatah, that you're doing a wonderful job because Dream Career Talk Show is something which people are looking for. And in their career, they always have that one dream. Okay, I need to work for this particular career. And when you are bringing many people from different platforms, different fields, different industry, this is going to be amazing that people will get their clarity, their learnings from many of the guests like me who are coming on the show. And thank you so much and privileged to be on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for accepting this invite. And I think I've been seeing your journey. We know each other from quite some time now, right? You have been doing some amazing job there. And what you talk about spiritual selling and spiritual seller has been something that has attracted me towards what you do, right? So today, before we talk about spiritual selling, let's talk about accidental sales that happened with you. How did you get started with this journey, right? Starting from your academics, how did you got into this career, and how did it actually take you to where you are today?
Actually, Father, this is very much dear to me that how I got accidentally into sales. And this is like something which I like to take back to my childhood where it all started. So I come from a very humble background, and I always saw. So one thing is very much I'm privileged that I got a wonderful parents. Like, it happens, right, that we always give the better version of our own lifestyle to our kids. So my parents, not been so educated, not been well educated, they always thought that, okay, how best we can give to our kids. And we are three siblings. We are fortunate enough that we all got education from English medium. We all got those kind of anything that we wanted in our life. We saw that our parents are that always on the war foot to take care of that. And I come from a background where I saw parents struggling, though it was like Diwali time or any festive time. My parents always made sure that the kids get all the benefit, all the good things, and they were also struggling. So all these things are starting from that journey of mine where I saw them struggling, where I saw them making hustles, doing working extra 16 hours sometimes, 20 hours sometimes. And then I thought, when I will get graduate, whatever happens for me from there on, whether it is my future learning, whether going for MBA, whether going for any other education, I will not put burden on my parents. And the day when I got my graduation done, I immediately hop into one of the industry which was very much booming that time. That was BPO industry, because I always had this one thought, कि भाई बाहर निकलना है तो one thing is very much important is money. So I didn't see it as a career. I jumped in because of money. And that time, BPO industry, night shifts, working for US process was like money. It was like incentives, extra efforts, you get money. So I jumped into an interview, and I still remember that day that I had no clarity. I had no vision. I had no dream or a career perspective. I directly jumped. I went to the BPO industry, not even understanding that, oh, BPO industry starts at the evening time. The HR also guys comes at the evening time or the mid afternoon time. I went there at 10:30 in the morning and saying that okay, I want to come for interview. I'm here for interview, and I waited there for 2-3 hours. Then one person came in like 1 o'clock, 1:30. The first question he asked, okay, share your resume. I said, what is that? So I was that dumb that I went for interview without even resume, and then somehow that person had some thought for me, or the good vibes happened. That he helped me in preparing that resume, and then my journey started. It was my grit that I wanted to get into that work. I wanted that offer letter to come in my hand. 8:30 in the night, I got that offer letter. The first thing, I went home and saw it to my shared it to my parents, and I said that this is what I'm earning, this is what I'll be getting it, and they were quite happy. But my father's one question put me in that, again, a big question mark is, Sandeep, do you really want to do something else? Do you want to study further? I can arrange for it. You don't need to work hard. I said, no, it is not about that. It is about something personal which I want to work on. And that's how my career started in BPO. My journey started in BPO. And from there, Fatah, it was a good journey for 5.5, 6 years, working for American Express and Nationwide Credit Incorporated for US process. And in that, I elevated as well to that next level. So from starting as an associate, struggling talking in English to a US client, first of all, coming from English medium in India, having friends talking the regional language, having no one at home where we converse well in English, we always talk in our mother tongue. So struggling in that initial phase. From there, getting to that next level of team leader, getting to that next level, and then I got a realization, okay, what am I doing here? Like I'm working like a junkie, like working at 5 o'clock in the evening, coming out 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, like doing something against the nature. So then I realized, okay, let me do something. I entered into entrepreneurship. I started my own firm, and from there I started getting into the manufacturing segment. So manufacturing segment is something which was not, again, accidentally I entered into manufacturing segment, because that time, 2010, 11, that time, entrepreneurship, these things, these concepts were just booming up. And that moment I entered into a manufacturing, plastic manufacturing industry, and that was again a struggle part. I accidentally also started into manufacturing, into sales. I never realized that okay, I'm getting into sales, and I never had that background. I never had that intention also to start something in sales, but I just started. And from there, there was a time when I was down with hepatitis and had lost a lot of tremendous weight. I had lost in the business approximately 18 to 20 lakhs that moment, all hard money gone. I had that feeling that okay, I am not good in BPO. I'm not good in what I'm doing. I'm not good in the entrepreneurship, the business as well. What am I good at? But that moment, I had no other choice. I went back to again BPO, again those customer service zone. From there, Fatah, it happened that I kept on working, working, working without even thinking what is my career, without even thinking, okay, which is that segment I need to crack on, which is the industry I need to go on. And those moments, those people who were surrounded with that managers or senior managers, they were also in the same way how I entered the career. They were also the same way who they climbed those ladders. But then one thing was very clear for me, that I was that moment father of one child, and I had my own house. I had my car. I had EMIs running across. I got married at a very early stage. So, you know what happened? Coming out of my graduation day, the goal was to get salary. The goal was to get the money. From there, I got married, I got kid, I got house, I got EMI running up. My goal changed to okay, now let me go to a corporate, let me go to another job, let me have that additional income. Never even thought that okay, I'll get into sales, I'll get into some industry focused. From there, I entered one of the India's big insurance giant called ICICI Lombard, and I got into sales. That's when, while doing those sales, while working there, I realized that I think I can do good in this, and I think I'm doing fairly well. I jumped as zonal manager for Bharti AXA General Insurance. There I was handling 3 states, and that moment, now Fatah, that when we reach at that career stage where everything is working well, you are getting that money, I was getting those career advancement also, but there was something which was missing in me. And that thing gave me that realization that though I'm in sales, I'm actually not sure why am I here. What is it that got me here? Is it just the money? Is it just the career advancement? That's when I had that introspection, and that's where I accidentally got into sale. And from there, my journey started towards self development and knowing it further more deeply. So that's a little bit about how I entered my journey so far.
Interesting. I think that's the journey of most of the people, if you ask me, right? I
Yeah.
think 80% of the people are in that flow. Even
Yeah.
started with a um, PPO, right? Again, the intent was money. The intent was to just make money there, right? So most of them, they get started and they get into that flow. So you also did this, but what was the point of realization? When did you start realizing, hey, it's not about money, it's about impact, or it's not about actually selling? Because you have been talking in your book, also upcoming book, you're talking about spiritual seller. When did that mindset shift happen for you?
So it all started when I got that feeling of stuck. I actually want to share this point that what really happened with me. So one side, Fatah, got married, have family, have those house, the EMI and everything. So the lifestyle was elevated. Because of that lifestyle elevation, I had that money crunch. I was every time having that mindset of, okay, now let's do one more corporate ladder, let's get one more step ahead, let me get that one more salary hike or one more bonus hike. So I was always in that run. So I always ignored myself, never introspected, never thought, okay, what is good for me. And everything goes to that one peak level where it gets into that choking mode. So I got into that choking mode where I was in a boardroom. I was into a discussion with one of the India's top leaders as well. That moment in that boardroom, I got a realization that I'm not sure what am I doing in life. I'm not sure why is it that even I'm here. Like, is it just money? Then I can do anything. Why then sales? So that moment I had this nagging feeling inside that, okay, not sure what am I doing. So that mid career crisis which we always talk, that came in. I knew that I can jump further more ladders, I can work hard towards it, but why, for whom? And every time when this was going back in loop, you know I'll actually share how was my day start. I used to get up with that anxiety feeling, okay, why am I getting up today, what is new going to happen today. Then going to my office, it was like 1.5 hour of journey, listening to Bollywood song, reaching to office and just seeing that, okay, let's do something. As I've come today, let's do something. And again, not able to do much in life, much in the career. And then again in the evening time, in the traffic, coming back home, that same person from house was having that feeling of failure or not able to do anything, going to work, trying, proving his position there, again struggling back to come home, again getting that emotion back home. So it was in a loop. I was seeing that all spokes of my life were getting hampered. And to share it out, there were times when I thought, is it like I'm ending my life? Is it like that it's like end, there is no hope, because I had no direction where to go. So that moment, it was very difficult, Fatah, and I have mentioned that in my book also. That what was that peak moment where I felt, I think it's end of my life. I think it's done. Like, where in corporate I'm going, I don't know. Where in life I'm going, I don't know. But I have to go because I have my family. I have my EMIs going on. I have the other n number of things which are going on in my life. If I don't work, it will not work. So that moment, na Fatah, I realized that either either I end it or either I do something. And that moment, it happens right when the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Right.
That moment, something happened that I got in touch with the person who changed my life, who showed me the clarity, who gave me that little hope that it is still possible. And I read this an amazing book which I recommend to everyone who is listening to the show, is 80% mindset, 20% skill. So that led me to that point that, okay, this feeling that I'm getting, why am I getting that feeling? why am I getting blocked? Is because of certain correction which I need to do in the pattern of living, in the way I'm thinking. So instead of asking many other people, I followed one person and I started introspecting to myself, understanding my pattern, understanding my behavior, understanding my energy level, understanding where I'm focusing on. I never had that big picture. So everything started from that point, Fatah, that I got into that self realization mode, that where am I right now and where am I leading to? And what if this continues? I had that feeling that if this continues, either I see myself ending myself, either I go to that extreme stage where I just don't care about the world, I just don't care about anything, I just keep on working just for money, just for survival, which was again a very, very choking thing for me. That why am I even living as an human? That moment, Fatah, when the mentor appeared, that moment everything like started just the entire mode or of my life started getting clear. Entire what do you call, the blur in front of me started getting clear. The fog started getting disappear slowly, and I just followed the process. I just followed certain processes which my mentor said, okay, do this, do this, do this. And trust me, that was the turning moment. It was exactly 3 years ago where I got this realization. And Fatah, that day I still remember when I was going to work and I said, I think today is my last day. I think today is my last day. I don't know why I'm going. I don't know why I'm going. And everything started changing from that moment. That little hope, that Lion King, where you have that lion and the Simba, the cub, and the lion says, okay, sometimes I feel it's end, but then I look back and see who's watching me. So I saw my kids that time. They are watching me. They are seeing me. That they are seeing me as a hero of their life. And if I don't take certain corrections in my life, I don't take certain actions in my life, it is not going to happen. And that's where my life started turning up, and turning up in a very right manner. And I'm really gratitude to my mentors as well as to God and the universe, that it showed me the right way at the right time, and my career prospect started getting clear at that moment. Sorry,
Great.
I'm
I
just a
think,
little bit emotional on that part, because that's what I have been through all this while.
yeah, thanks for being vulnerable. And whatever you shared is very powerful. And I could go back into my life as well, because I think this is life of most of the people, especially in the mid careers, right? We start something, but during the mid career we realize, hey, where are we actually moving ahead? What is happening with us? We start feeling like losing in life. We start feeling that there is nothing beyond this particular point, right? I think I also faced similar feelings there. And when I talk to a lot of people, same feelings in the mid careers, most of them go through this, right? But I think from there you took that step. You mentioned about you reading that book, finding that mentor, who is a common mentor to me and you, right? Dave Gadvi, reading that same book, getting started from there. But Sandeep, there are a lot of people, right? Because of the information being overflooded today, a lot of people, they still like wait and they have lost hope, right? As you and me also, we lost hope at certain point of time. They lose hope and then they feel, hey, it's not possible. But time to time they give certain motivation things for them, right? Watching some videos, or maybe killing time using some Netflix, right? Random things doing here and there. I'm sure you must have also done it, right? From there you actually took a step and you invested into books and mentor, right? So how do you think people can also start looking at this particular thing that can actually help them, because most of them would have lost the hope just like you did.
I agree, and thank you so much for asking this beautiful question, because I recollect back, I was actually doing it. I was actually part of those people who are blocked, and at the same time, they have a little bit hope. Okay, let's do something, because nobody gets up in the morning saying that today is a failure day. I want to be like a failure. Everyone gets up and saying that, okay, at least I got up, because 3 out of 10 people don't get up. At least I got up. Let me do something. But there is something which, as the day progresses, there is something which goes on diminishing, which is the motivation. And that's where I realized that I don't need motivation, I need something as an inspiration to take myself ahead. And all the videos, all the movies, inspirational movies or anything that I watched, it was short lived, because of certain things which I recollected, something that I discovered in this journey is I always focused on correcting my actions, because results are not there. So let me correct some action. Oh, let me get up fresh. Or let me talk properly. Or let me dress up properly. Or let me go on time. Or let me just do something good right now today. But always I kept on correcting certain actions. However, I never thought what is the thing which is stopping me to even come to that faster mode of success or realization to that next level. Is something which I discovered in this journey is we always start correcting our action, and that's exactly the tactics and strategies lie. But the fundamentals, the foundation, I never worked on it because it was never open to me. And slowly, when I was aware of these aspects, then things started falling in place. So I always put it into that analogy that if you want to correct your results, you have to correct your actions. But before your action, there is something which is beautiful come is how do you behave. That is something which is very much important for correcting those actions. And before behavior, there is something which comes as the feeling. What is the feeling towards that action? And before that feeling, there is something which beautiful comes as what is the thinking, the thought process which is there before that. And all these things comes from the programming of mind. So I put it that way is P plus T plus F plus B plus A is equal to R. It's the programming of mind, the thought process towards the results, the feeling, the behavior, the action towards the result. So I put it one thing very clear, and I want everyone to understand this concept is until and unless you don't craft what you really, really want in life, which direction you have the life going towards, you will never be able to move in that direction. So I always had this feeling that somebody should at least tell me what is it that I'm lacking on. Most of the videos that I saw, most of the movies that I saw, I got that action correction, but I never got that deep thought. Okay, if I'm failing, what is the pattern that I'm living? So another thing which I want to share on this same point is, Fatah, that we always think from a short-lived point. What is it for now? What is it for next 5 months, 6 months? But we never saw, okay, what is it for the entire life? Why even I born as a human? Why even I born as a beautiful soul who can create a lot of impact for myself, my family, my entire the entire community or human mankind? So that's where started things started changing for me when I designed my vision board, my dream board, my the impact which I want to create on the other people's life. That's where things started changing, and I am thankful to my mentor again, Dev Gadvi, that I got this clarity from him when he asked me one question is, Sandeep, why are you even living? And I had no clue. Why are you in sales? I had no clue. Why, what is that big dream that you have? I had no clue, and I was like, sorry, I don't know, sorry, I don't know. And that's where I started introspecting, and that's where things started changing for the. So I keep it very simple. It's if you want to have a great results, PTFBA, then is equal to results, not just A is equal to results. That's action will not lead to results. So that's one
Right.
thing which is
Great, and definitely we will talk about that expansion. You spoke about some abbreviations there as well, but you said you took actions and you were not getting results here and there. You were trying different things. I think that's where many people get stuck is looking at tactics, right? Taking some actions, changing some behavior here and there. Maybe can I call more people so that I can sell more? Maybe can I actually dress up well? Can I maybe like look at new clients? Right, or can I actually communicate in a good manner? So all these things are boiling down to tactics. Now you said you actually started working on your foundation. So
yeah.
when you talk about this formula as well, like what was the foundation, what was the first step that you worked on, and from there how did you actually reach to actions? Because you said actions is the last step, right?
Yeah.
From whatever the first steps to the action, what was that foundation for you?
So the first step for what I realized and I see the world as now is, the first thing is why even I'm in sales and what is that impact it's going to happen. So there are many people who are in sales don't not even knowing that why they're in sales and what impact they are going to have, because it's just, so sales industry is, by the way, it's all driven by the numbers. and numbers lead down to all the targets, discussions on the target, the number pendency. And that's where I realized that there is so much thing apart from numbers. Is we adding value to people's life? The product and services that we are selling, if that is not adding value, then we are manipulating. And that's where I got the realization that selling is not just the numbers. Selling is serving. Selling is giving some person something which they are missing, or which will make their life better. So that first thing, Fatah, the foundational part of anyone in sales career is to understand why they are in sales. And that's one thing which I started realizing, that if I don't sell, what is going to happen? If I don't serve people in a right way, I don't give them what they are looking out or what they're missing out, what is going to happen to their life? That's where I cleared all these energy for me. So the first step is to identify why we are in sales, what is going to happen, and what is our energy towards it. If I don't have a strong positive energy towards it, I will not be able to add value. So I'll be always been that, give me yes, tell me yes, oh please, please, oh I can sell this, oh I can sell that, oh please say yes, please say yes. And once it's yes, it's done. Oh wow, done. Who's next? Who's next? Who's next? So that was me some time back, because that's how the industry has become most of the time. And that's the first step for the to understand where you are, why you are, and what is going to happen if you are just changing that one thought process. One small thing in your mindset is, if you don't sell, what is going to happen to that person, and how do you see it, how do you feel it after that sale? Do you feel blessed? Do you feel good? That is the feeling which I first changed. I understood this concept very deeply, and I'm thankful that I read some beautiful book. One is like Selling is Human. That's amazing book where we understand these concepts more deeply. So
Great.
that's, I think, one big part of sales which I corrected at the foundational level, that understanding how is it going to add value.
Absolutely. And I think completely resonate with you here, right? For all of them who are watching or going to watch us later on recording as well, it is more about understanding why you are doing whatever you're doing, right? Having that reason clear for you, because if you are doing something for your lifetime, if you are building your career, ask those right questions. And one of the most important question, as I think you said, Sandeep, it is asking yourself, why am I doing whatever I'm doing? What is the inspiration? What is the reason behind it? I think that's the foundation for most of the people there, right? And you got your foundation straight, and you actually understood, hey, I'm going to do this more because I'm serving people, right? And once you started this concept, like, you also speak about spiritual seller, right? So how did you blend spirituality into this? Were you always spiritual, or the journey actually made you to realize, hey, this things does not work when I'm running behind money, and you brought in spirituality, then you integrated sales? How did this happen?
This is again very beautiful question, Fatah. This again goes back to that those days where I thought spirituality is just like regional religion. Like, okay,
Religion,
going
yeah.
to temple, going to puja, doing this meditation, all these things. But then I realized, no, spirituality is something that your spirit following some rituals in reality is what spirituality. That's how I analyze that, and I put that in my book as well. That your spirit having a certain set of rituals that you're following, and in reality, it is giving you results. So that is where I realized, what is it? What is it? What are we made of? We are made of bones and flesh. What will happen if we die? We go back to Mother Earth. What is it that keeping us alive? That's your spirit. And if your spirit is not feeling good about your being, your well-being, your everyday, what is it that is running inside you? Nothing. So that's where I realized I was never spiritual in this aspect. But when things started getting clear to me, I started following some principles. I started following some actions on a daily basis. Started following some rituals where I got more deep into this concept called spirituality. And sales is as spiritual as any other thing, because we are adding value to other people's life, we are making their life better with our products and services. That's where I feel even money is spiritual, because it helps us experience those good things in our life and exchanging those values again in the reality. So I was in sales, understood what is the negative aspects of sale, how manipulations happen, coming from couple of work experiences where it was like एक सेल हो जाए, जाने जाते जाते एक सेल हो जाए. That was the language which I have always seen around people, like चिपका दो, बेच दो. So from that I said, no, this is not right, this is just you manipulating it for your betterment. And from there, that negative emotions, negative aspects which I was carrying for a very long time, and at the same time I am getting these feelings of how a soul, how a spirit can be into a high vibration mode. So then I said, why not this is shown to people who are there in sales, and get them into that zone of gratitude, get them into that zone of where they feel good about adding value to people's life through sales. That's where this combination came across. That's where this book which I have written, I've actually poured my heart and soul, everything in this book, to make people realize that there are some principles if you follow, you can also get into sales through spirituality. And it is not like a spiritual seller, like you're not, I'm not selling spirituality. It's like you as a seller, you become that kind of spiritual that when you make that sale, you are actually feeling good about yourself, that you have done good to a mankind, you have done added value to the other person's life, and in exchange the other person also not feel good or bad about you, they just feel neutral. But when they experience the product and services, whom they will thank, they'll thank you for
Right.
bringing that to their life. And that is what I've come to that stage where anyone in this world who is into a sales, or anyone in this world who is not in sales, can also be a spiritual seller, because every moment, right from your childhood to our last breath, we are selling something. We are selling some or the other thing. Either we are selling our hunger, either we are selling our skills, either we are selling a product and services for company in exchange of something.
Right.
So that's how.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I love the definition, the way you actually simplified spirituality, right? Spirit, and then following certain rituals and having that put it in the practical aspects in life, and that beautiful meaning of spirituality and making it separate from religion, because I think a lot of people get confused. Hey, spirituality equals to religion. It's not a religion, right? It's all about you as a person, as a human being. And when you change that thought process, you mentioned life started changing for you, right? So
Yeah.
you also spoke about manipulation when you were talking about sales, right? And this is what many people actually hate about sales, if you look at. And many people don't want to enter into sales because they say, hey, there's a lot of manipulation. You need to tell a lot of lies to come up in sales and all. So is there any way, when you're talking about spiritual selling, can that really happen? Because again, the industry, a lot of people see it in a way that you have to be a liar, you have to be like manipulating. How do you see this differently when you're talking about spiritual selling, manipulation versus persuasion, and selling versus serving?
So I see one thing is, Fatah, let's put a little bit the story back, what I've been seeing for a very long time. So in my couple of past endeavors, I've been taking interviews, and I see people from various other fields coming in sales just for money. So the first intention itself is money, then the serving will never come. Then the concept of getting into sales, it's itself is manipulated first of all. So we ourselves are getting into that manipulated mode, because I saw people coming from IT, people coming from engineering field, because there is nothing sometimes they feel is possible for their career to be opening up, or they have the options in their career, their curriculum, what they have read or what they have learned, or the certification they have done. That's why they're coming into sales. So when that kind of person comes in sales, whatever he learns there is same. You get to know, you get to do the numbers, you get to meet the target, then only you will get incentives or you'll survive in the company. So the first base level of entry itself, people are feeling that way. So it is not going to change so easily, until and unless some great platforms, like right now what we are doing right now, some great platforms give them the realization that it's okay, you can come from any of the industry, you can come from any of the field, anyways you are selling. In If you are in IT, you are again selling your skills there. If you are in HR, you are again selling your skills there. So selling is everywhere. So when manipulation comes across is when the fundamentals are not clear, when the main context is not clear. Why are you even there? Why are you even entering this field? So I take it very clear that way, that until and unless there is nothing as a self realization of why we are entering into the field, the first why if is cleared, then only things will start falling in place. And again, this book I have written only for this purpose, that people who are there in sales or people who are serving and doing any other thing, if they read the book or if they understand even 5 or 10% of the concept of serving, the entire thought process start changing. And that's exactly what we want. Because for me also to come out of this 17 years of corporate experience, to come out of that was not easy, because always it was numbers, target, and meeting it or manipulating or learning it from the great leaders also, that okay, manipulate kar lo, okay, numbers dal do, let's see. So from that to this was not an easy journey. But at the same time, when we talk about serving, when we talk about persuasion, that's completely opposite of manipulation and just sales. So again, coming back to the big point is, when the concept of our self realization is clear, Fatah, that moment only a person will understand what is persuasion. Because persuasion is again just like spirituality, it is misunderstood for religion, it is misunderstood for manipulation. So when your concept or my concept is clear, that okay, I am talking to other person and I want to add value, I want to serve that person, that's the moment the changes happen. Then we don't care about he saying yes or no, we care about that other person's benefit. And that moment the shift starts, right? And there are industries, there are certain companies, there are certain fields where this concept to reach will take a little bit more time, because it has been there for a very long time. It has been there for generations altogether. And I don't want to blame anyone, or I can't blame anyone, because that's how the world has been perceived since a very long time. And the next generation also comes, they also see the older generation doing it. So let's start. So that's where I actually started talking to a lot of managers, a lot of senior managers, and putting this seed in their thought that okay, if you are talking to your team, add value, talk about their life, talk about their success, what's in it for them, why they have to sell, why they have to serve. And that's where a small baby steps even I'm taking it, to make people realize that there is something different. Selling is different, serving is different, manipulation is different, and persuasion is different. And persuasion is for the benefit of the other person, manipulation is for the benefit of the seller. And that's where I put this analogy very clear. If you manipulate, it's for your benefit. If you persuade, it's the benefit of the other person or the prospect or the client or anyone.
Great. Thank you for that simple definition and the clarity between persuasion and manipulation, because I think that's one of the biggest concept people need to understand, especially in sales. Persuasion, selling for others; manipulation, doing it for your own selfish benefit. Once the concept is clear, once people are persuading rather than manipulating, game changes for them, right? And when you talk about spirituality, when you talk about service, and you also spoke about how people look at money, even you looked at money and got into the industry. So does that mean that people should not be working for money, because money is also important? And when people talk about spirituality, does it mean that spirituality is leave everything and then just be spiritual, be religious, and then just be there? So how do you see spirituality, and how do you actually connect the money part here?
Yeah. That's a great question again, Fatah. And thank you for putting this question across, because there was a time when I got into this spirituality zone where I got into that deep understanding about myself, my spirit, my understanding. I did those grounding exercises, or going back to Earth and just feeling those energies around. I also got that one feeling, okay, or is everything just superficial? Should I just leave and go to Himalaya, or should I just relax and just go down to that relaxation mode? Why am I even hustling? But then I realized that why are we born as a human? To experience, to add value, and to reach out to maximum humanity and correct those people who are doing it mistakenly or doing that manipulation. So when I connect that way, I see what I need. I need money. I need people to understand that one concept is very clear: you can't exchange anything for free. If you have a great product which is going to add value to other person's life, or help them fast track their career, help them fast track their journey, help them get those experiences of life, you have to exchange something, and that exchange value is in money. And I take it as a spiritual exchange, because money is something which can help you buy experiences as a human being, and spirituality is one thing which will keep you grounded. And that's where I put it very clear that, and if you don't have money, you will never be able to experiences those great experiences in life will not come to you. And I had this feeling, oh, I have a great child, I have a great family, I have a good life, but will the market give me anything exchange? Because I have a great family, I am a good human being, I need to exchange something with them. And that's where my concept about money also started changing. Earlier it was more of, okay, money given, product taken. Now it's not like that. It's like you changing other person's life, you adding value to their life, and in exchange they're giving money. So that's something which I'm having multiple talks on this point, because this is which I actually felt across in my journey, that money is needed for great experiences, and spirituality is needed for being grounded. And when this combination is coming together, you actually understand how good this is in exchange of the value add to the other person. And I always put this point for that if your product or service are going to add that great value, great realization, or put that person in that next zone, you definitely need to exchange it. And for that, first need to understand what is the product and services that you are adding. If that is not giving anything value to other person, that means you are selling wrong thing, you're manipulating. So that's the first point. Stop it, or change the track, or change the career, or change the industry, or change where you feel good about exchanging value to other person.
Yeah, I think that's rightly put across there. It's also about what kind of products or services are you selling? Is it adding value to people, or is it just like for that money making business, which is not any value add or negatively influencing or impacting people's lives, right? And you spoke about mid career crisis that you faced, and then you from, came over it, right? And a lot of people go through mid career crisis, but change does not happen immediately, right? It takes some time. For you also, I'm sure, like it took a few months or a few years to have that change. But during that particular time, it's very difficult to have that patience, right? Because every day you are going through that struggle, that mind, that thoughts, the feelings that you are getting, right? That negativity that is spreading inside you, right? How do you stop that, right? Of course, it's a journey where you are actually going to grow and change your life, transform your life. But during those stages, what helped you? Was it something which helped you in those stages?
So one of the big thing which helped me in that stage was to understand at what level I am at in terms of my own energy, my own thought process. Am I even having that great feeling? Is it coming naturally to me? If it is not coming naturally, can I borrow this conviction? Can I borrow this belief system? Can I borrow these thought process from someone whom I can vibrate at a higher level? And this usually happens when you are correcting some behaviors of yourself, when you're correcting some actions of yourself, and other people with whom you are associated, they pull you down. Because as it rightly said, you are the average of first five people that you are associated with all the full time. So I started, first thing doing is I started disconnecting with toxic peoples around me. And that was a very big task, because there were many people around who used to just, even if I meet them during the break, or just a morning break, or even the lunchtime, everything and every moment the talking is how bad this world is, how bad politics is, how bad this client meeting was, oh how bad this board meeting was. So I first disconnected myself from them, after realizing that by sitting around them, or by being around, it is not adding any value to my life. It is just their emotion burst which I am taking in. And as we have 2 years, but We tend to not listen, but sometimes it's open, we can't just shut it, and those fall in our ear and those fall inside us. And that moment I realized that I need to correct my actions, I need to correct my behavior. And the moment I started cutting off these toxin discussions, I started putting that into a learning mode. So during my lunchtime, or if I'm traveling, I started listening to audiobooks, I started listening to great authors, I started listening to great influencers, I started listening to great businessmen, how they did the business. I started listening to Sadhguru a lot, my mentor Dev Gadbi a lot. And that moment I realized that even if they're not in front of me talking to me, but they are talking to me. Their belief system, their conviction is coming inside me. So let me do more of it. And what really happened, Fatah, my energy vibration started elevating. And when my energy started elevating, these discussions of toxics started lowering down. Somewhere it never came to my ears also, because my intention was different. And during mid career crisis, this is the biggest thing which people need to understand is, you've been listening to toxins every time, and this is going inside you, this is becoming a part of your DNA, this is going to be part of your body cell. And until and unless you don't cut off, you'll be never able to elevate. And that moment when I did it, things started falling in place, Fatah. It was not easy. Absolutely, it was not easy, because I was like a Bollywood guy listening to music while going to office in the traffic, while coming back again music, and then again coming back home. From there, listening to audiobooks, making notes, putting that intention right, getting tired. And after a couple of months of my this journey, 3 4 months of journey, having that guts that this is a COVID time, people are wanting to be on job, people are wanting to be in that, okay, steady money coming in. When I realized I'm not part of it, and that's where in 6 to 7 months I decided to quit. I decided to quit my job and do full time my business, my entrepreneurship. And that's where things having deep problems started coming in, because right, we never have done that gut step, or we have never been that mode. Okay, no, anything which happens now, it's okay, let me do it for it. But still there were some hesitance which are coming in. Am I doing it right? Am I doing it? This is little noise was still there. But then I made my point very clear that until and unless we don't take action, I don't take action, nothing is going to change. And my journey started from there, Fatah. Correcting behaviors, correcting discipline, putting my actions right in place, taking the belief system, the conviction from people whom I can take it unknowingly, like listening to them, talking to them, and elevating my energy up, vibrating at a higher zone where I connect with the right mindset people who are themselves coming out of this toxin discussion relationship, and they talk about possibilities, they talk about next level growth, they talk about the next journey ahead, they talk about beautiful lifestyle they want in their life, then they talk about their big steps that they're taking. And then I started getting into that groove also. Then my discussions also changed, my language also changed, my belief system also changed. That's where I got that grit feeling again, that next step is this, after that this, after that this, and I can do it. I failed in past, but I can do it. So that's something which I advise to everyone who are getting that block feeling in their life, in their career. Take the benefit of other people who have those knowledge, who have those wisdom, who have that belief system, who are vibrating at the high zone, who are the top achievers, who are the great influencers in life as well.
Absolutely. I think what you said is very powerful again. Getting rid of that toxic environment, right? Changing your environment and being in the right environment is very important, right? And as you did, I think it is beneficial for everyone, especially for people who are even working from home, right? I think the what you did in terms of listening to the audiobooks, you don't really have to have people around you all the time. You can listen to audiobooks, you can listen to you can read the books of some amazing people out there who have written wonderful books there. Be there in an environment, subscribe to their YouTube channels, keep watching them, so that you feel that you are in the right environment. And I think that can become a game changer for a lot of people, right? And you were during the discussion, you also mentioned about how you started with gratitude rather than looking at the negative, how you started with looking at the positives. So how did this change the game for you? Because of course there's a lot of pressure, especially in the sales, right? You have targets, you don't achieve targets, you are afraid of losing job, You're afraid of what is going to happen next, how client is going to treat, how boss is going to treat. In that particular environment or in that particular state of mind, how does gratitude change life?
So I actually started this very lately in my entire life. So earlier, gratitude for me was okay, thank you, okay, thank you, that's it. But then I understood what is gratitude, why even that word exists in this world, and what really happens when we are in that high zone of vibration of gratitude. So one thing is, for me, it was very clear. If I'm having that fear of losing my job, if I'm fear of losing my client, if I'm fear of losing that deal, that itself is going to manifest, that itself is going to reflect on my voice, that itself is going to reflect on my presentation to them, and that itself will lead to manipulation because I'm on the fear of losing something. And instead of serving, I'll definitely go to selling. And instead of serving, when I go to selling, I'll definitely not go to persuasion, I'll then go for manipulation because I want that client to say yes. And that's where gratitude came in picture, that's where my deep understanding of this concept came in picture, that if I'm able to talk, if I'm able to get up today, if I'm able to see with my eyes, my feelings, my hand, let me be grateful that at least I am able to do it. What if I lose job? It's okay, I can start it again. What if I don't get yes from this client? It's okay, I can get one more client. But what if I have that deep gratitude that, wow, I help this client take a decision. Wow, I am benefiting of my life to make people's life more beneficial. I'm making sure that people's lives are getting more valued. And that moment, my pitch changed, my approach changed, my energy changed. And when there is a seller, people understand that this person is only selling. But when there is a someone who is like a life advisor, there is someone who is advising for a betterment, people understand that. And this is another concept which I have entered in my book, which is called as 5C process. Like when that gratitude exercise helped me, I understood that there are 5 C's which is going to help people get the result what they are looking at. The first C is showing that care to that peer person who is coming across. Instead of, so usually in sales, what happens is when manipulations happen, we directly start saying, "Oh, sir, my product is wonderful. We are the best in the market. This is going to give you great results and all these things." But when we start showing care to that person, that's where we do the second thing is the connect happens. And when connect happens, you actually put that person's behavior or belief system to a challenge, and then you help them to take a decision and you convert them. And that's where that person becomes a client of yours for maybe a lifetime, because once added value, that person will definitely stick to you. They will make sure that how closely they will be associated. So that's the 5C which I have entered in the book, where having the first step as gratitude and connecting to that person, showing that care. So gratitude has played a very big role in my life, Fatah. And I've been grateful to all the people who have not believed me, who have believed me, the mentors as well, who have given me that clarity in life. And gratitude to all the people who are watching as well, because you are again investing your time in watching something which will add value to your life. And through you, there are so many people who are going to get benefit. So grateful to you also, grateful to everyone watching here. So
Thank you for that.
this didn't come naturally to me some time back. Now I know that value of it, and the moment I said this, grateful to everyone who's even watching this, I'm actually feeling at a very high zone. I'm feeling very peaceful inside, and that's gratitude for me, Pata.
Beautiful, beautifully shared here, right? With the current live example here about how gratitude can actually make you feel instantly on high energy, right? And then also feel great about yourself and what you're doing, right? Now, one thing is a lot of times what happens is, as you also mentioned, we feel like losers in life, right? Especially in sales when you're not able to crack deals and your boss is shouting at you, and there are targets which you're not meeting. From being that loser to becoming a champions in sales, what is it that is required? Is it the mindset shift? Is it the sales skills that you actually start learning? Is it the books? what actually helps people from moving from a loser to a champion sales guy?
Yeah. That's again a great question, Fatah. How to move from a loser, or that getting that feeling of a loser, or the stats not showing you as a champion, from a loser to champion, what are the steps which anyone can follow? And this is something which I practically followed, and this is going to benefit. First is to understand, are you a loser or are you a champion? Because that's where I realized that, oh, I'm losing my clients every now and then, or I'm not able to add value to people's life. So understanding where you are right now, that's the first step. That's the first step to understand what is your position and which level you want to go across. And that's, Fatah, the first mindset shift which happens, is to understand why are you even losing, why that terminology is coming to your mind that you are a loser. So that's where my self image, my self belief system started working across. So I started working on the fundamentals first, foundation first, that until and unless I don't feel good about myself, I don't have that right image of my own self as a champion, how am I going to be like a champion in the outer world? So inside dialogues started changing. And the person with whom you talk the most in this entire life is you itself inside. So even if we are talking 5-10% outside, the 80-90% times we are talking inside to our own self. And that internal dialogue has to change. So that's the first level of the mindset change. I worked on the mindset first. That's the fundamental, that's the foundation. And from there, then the next level was the skills. The next level was, okay, understanding how do I even present to my audience? How do I even add value? I understood, okay, that is something which is of adding value, putting that person at the high benefit, automatically will get that back. But exactly how? So that's where I started learning on the persuasion skill. That's how I started learning on how exactly to put things forward to other person, understanding that they are really struggling for it, they are really looking out for it. And that's where the next level started happening, is the mastery of it. So first was the mindset, setting up the foundation, then was the skills, and then was the little bit of tactics of how actually you help people take a decision, help people to show that they are made up of something which they are really worth of. Because most of the prospect or client, even they are like us sometime, that they are also thinking less of themselves, they are also don't see the possibility, they also take decision from scarcity. And we need to show them that what is the cost of ignorance that they are paying, what is that they're ignoring in their life. And that's where, to make it simple to everyone who is watching, first is the foundation, first is the mindset, first is the dialogues inside, first is how you feel about yourself, then second is the skills, and then third is to mastering that skill to that higher level where you actually are the champion in the real world. So that's how I did it, from a loser to a champion, in terms of my sales, my skills, and documenting that in the book as well. So that's how, Fatah, I would like to put it across to the team, through everyone who's watching.
That's amazing. And thank you for sharing that and all those tips that you shared throughout the episode. It was a great learning for me, and I'm sure people who are watching also it's a great learning for them. Right. Before we conclude this episode, right, what is that concluding message you want to give to the audience on this show today?
I would say that until and unless you as an individual, you don't change inside, there is nothing on the outside is going to happen. And until and unless you don't see yourself as a champion, you don't see yourself as a great human being, outside world is not going to change. Until and unless you don't take care of yourself, you don't be in that right spirit, your spirit doesn't vibrate at a higher level, the aura, the people around you are not going to change. Instead of changing people around you, you change yourself. The people around you will start vibrating at the same zone, or you'll start getting new people around you who are vibrating at the high zone. That's how you'll start getting great results in life. That's how you'll be making more impact in the life. And this life is beautiful. Adding value is the highest gratitude thing in the life, in the blessings of human history. If you are able to add value to other people's life, nothing like it. And trust me, the beautiful thing that you get inside is the content feeling of adding others value to others life, and they blessing you back. There is nothing on top of this which is there in this world. And you actually go to that field of enlightenment where you are actually adding value to humanity and making this world as a very peaceful and a enjoyable journey for everyone experiencing great things in life.
Thank you. That's a beautiful message, right? Work on yourself, work on the inside first, then work on the outside. That can change the entire life for you. So thank you, Sandeep, for sharing all those golden nuggets today and sharing a lot of tips coming from your experience, your knowledge, and your spirituality as well, which you put in and then integrated with sales here. Thank you for doing that. And thanks everyone for who have been watching us live and who are going to watch us on recording. Thank you for being here and being with us and engaging on this particular episode.
Thank you for
Thank you,
that,
Sandeep.
and thank you everyone for being such a wonderful audience.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.